Hey everyone, one question I get sometimes is Bitcoin a currency or is it an investment? And if it's an investment, is it long-term? Is it short-term? And so I want to walk through that in a short video here.
So the question is Bitcoin a currency or an investment? A currency, is it a currency meaning something that we use to pay for things in real life, everyday life? Like the dollar, will Bitcoin replace the dollar and be a currency, be the main currency that we use? Or is it just an investment, just something you buy and hopefully the value of this thing that you have bought will increase, and so the money you put in will increase because it becomes more valuable. It's an investment. So do we think of Bitcoin as a currency or as an investment?
Here. So first of all, Bitcoin is all of the above. It is both a currency and an investment.
Wow.
So let me walk through that. So Bitcoin is a currency, but the reason a currency has value is because it stores value. So nobody would transact with something if they thought what they were giving up, or I should say, if what they thought they were receiving did not have value. So when something is becoming a money, it will first become a store of value before anybody has the bright idea of trying to transact with it. So initially it will start out as perhaps a collectible like gold, then that will store value, so it will become a store of value, which because it stores value, it will become a medium of exchange, and eventually long-term it will become a unit of account, meaning...
Mr. Bomgar explains that Bitcoin is both a currency and an investment. He explains that anything that's going to become a money, going to become currency or become a money, must begin as a store of value. You're storing your value in something, and in this case, Bitcoin. And the more people that begin to use Bitcoin as a store of value, which is becoming more and more and more and more because of its properties to fight against the devaluing of money that we're seeing in our dollar, for example. And so more and more people are using it as a store of value, more in the way of an investment. And eventually, as time goes on, if there's good properties here within this technology, and there is in Bitcoin, then eventually people begin to use it as an exchange, as a currency, as a money. And we're already seeing that now.
So if you look at Bitcoin as an investment, so most people, I'll give you the sort of classic human journey. So most people start by buying a little bit of Bitcoin. Maybe it's $50, maybe it's $100, maybe it's $1,000, whatever. They buy a little bit of Bitcoin. Maybe it's, for some people, a small amount is $100,000. For high net worth people, sort of, an initial dip their toe in the water might be $100,000. But it might be, for the average person, $100 or $10. But typically people will buy a small amount, then they'll watch it perform for a period of time, then they'll buy a little bit larger amount, then they'll watch it perform for a while, and eventually they might buy a larger amount. During that entire process, Bitcoin for them is a store of value, and it's just an investment. And it typically starts out a very long-term investment. As you get more comfortable with Bitcoin and the ups and downs, it becomes even more of a short-term investment, and eventually you can start using it like a currency, like I do with the Coinbase debit card, for example.
Okay, so here he's describing the typical human journey as it relates to having Bitcoin, owning Bitcoin. And it typically starts out with someone just dipping into it just a little bit, and then understanding what it is more, and that growing and desiring to have more and more of this Bitcoin. And for most people, initially they're using it as the way you would think of an investment. That's just a store of value. It's just sitting there. As Bitcoin continues to increase in its value year after year after year, they're noticing that, and so they're adding more to it. And then eventually, as more people do this, as they collect more Bitcoin, or as more people around the world begin to adopt Bitcoin as this amazing store of value, eventually people begin to use it as currency, and it starts to replace other currencies that are inferior to it. And so it moves from treating it like an investment and a store of value there to treating it like a currency, like a money that you use day to day to buy coffee or buy your gas or pay your mortgage or whatever it might be. And we're already beginning. We're at the very beginning stages of that, but we're starting to see that adoption process.
But the bottom line answer is Bitcoin is all of the above. Is it a currency or an investment? The answer is it's both. Most people start at the sort of investment level, and they may end up at the currency level. Just like some people start by owning Bitcoin in an ETF, and then they sort of end up on Coinbase, and eventually they self-custody with BitKey. It's a sort of a natural progression. You don't have to go any farther in that process than you're comfortable with. Same. If all you're ever comfortable with is a very long-term investment in a Bitcoin ETF, then you have sort of the longest-term investment in the sort of most indirect way, which would be a Bitcoin ETF. A medium-term investment in sort of a medium, Goldilocks middle of the road would be buying actual Bitcoin for the medium and long-term in Coinbase. And ultimately, you can, graduate even from that to having most of your long-term investments in something like BitKey, but using for super short-term or even medium-term, keeping enough of a balance in Coinbase to use the Coinbase debit card. So again, hopefully this is all helpful, and I am out of time for videos for tonight for the time being. Hopefully these all were helpful. I think I did like 5 videos or something like that. Thanks, everyone.